Hey guys, I'm Tommy Flam, and today I'm going to be showing you how you can accent like a part of a set or a panel or something using foam.
Okay, so when you're starting off, it's important that you mark where you're going to want these foam things to be. So otherwise it's just going to look uneven. So we're going to measure, we're going to do it, we'll say 3 inches away from the side here. A straight line down the side like that. Well, it doesn't have to be perfectly straight. You just have to mark the rough form of it, and that's the line that the thing will be on. Okay, we're gonna do the other side now. So this is your chalk line. I find this to be a very handy tool. You pull it out, just chalk on it. You can kind of, I don't know if you can see it in the video, but it's falling off as I pull it out. So you put this chalk where you want to mark a line. So I put it in the corner there, and I want to make a horizontal. You can see the chalk falling on the thing. So then you put it there, and I'm gonna have Lily here. Can you pluck the chalk line? So then you pluck it like that, and it makes. You see that very clear line of chalk. Diagonal there. There. I don't know if you hear that 100%. Lily, plug that in. Thank you. And then when it's chalk, when you're done with it, just wind this thing up. It goes in. And then punch the chalk out. So just mark it down to music. So here, ignoring my name initials, you can see we have the setup of like this nice little structural crossbeam area that we could make out of foam. So you see we're gonna have foam going across like this in all these areas. Okay, so now we're gonna move on to start cutting our foam. So we're gonna measure how long we need this piece of foam to be, which this, luckily enough for us, is exactly 2 feet. Same with the other side, should be 2 feet. Okay, for the thickness of the foam, I think 2 inches will be good. That's this much, you can see. So we're gonna mark 2 inches. This is a little crappy piece of foam that I grabbed because we gotta save the important foam for shows and stuff. So we need it to be 2 feet. So we're gonna measure alongside the line so we know it's straight. We need to measure out 2 feet, and that's right there. So we're gonna mark that, and then we're gonna cut this. Okay, so we have the panel saw here. Tucked my thingamabobs in the hoodie, rolled up my sleeve, it's got no air in the way, and I have it set to where it lines up with these 2 inches here, the saw, and it's horizontal for the cut. So we're gonna turn on the saw. Goggles on. My safety partners here. So. So the piece of foam may or may not have been really thick. I kind of had to jam it through, but we got it through. But when you're cutting out way longer strips of foam, like maybe this big, probably like there's some that'll be longer, then the panel saw will be the most efficient to use for that. But we have our 2 rough pieces here. We will need to cut where the actual 2 feet, because this is a little longer than 2 feet. So we're gonna cut those. I'm gonna show you guys how we can cut it with the wire cutter that we use for foam, and how to just do it with the utility blade. Okay, so we have our utility blade here, and we're gonna use this. This is gonna be one of the things I show you. We're gonna use this to cut where our 2 feet is. So first things we're gonna do, we're gonna check, we're gonna make sure it's 2 feet. Well, we're gonna make sure where I think is 2 feet is 2 feet. And it is this line right here. So we're gonna need to cut there with the blade. So I like to grab the actual piece, and first we're just gonna do like a light cut. Like we're not even trying to get that deep. This is actually like very helpful. There's already an indentation here, but here I'll show you up here for instance. So if your first thing, you're just gonna go lightly across the surface. You want to mark it. This part was already marked, so I didn't do it. But you go lightly across the surface to make sure you get your indentation in, and then you carefully. Now here's where you just kind of press in, make sure you get that clean cut. And I like to angle it. So this way is going to be the way that's facing the audience. So when I'm cutting it, because when you rip it off, it's going to be kind of nasty looking. So I like indenting away from where the audience wants to see it, because then it comes out, it appears cleaner. So we have that cut. This should be enough to be able to split it. So you just like that. And see what I mean? How it's kind of like it kind of didn't really come out so nicely. That's why I kind of indented it away. You don't really, it's best not to use the utility blade. It's best to use the heated wire because it comes out way cleaner. But the utility blade is just one of the tools you could use. So now, you line it up. Oh, I forgot that was the example cut.
Yeah.
So let's just cut that. That's good. 2 feet. This is a pretty thick piece of foam for the thing that we're working on. Maybe if you're actually working on a show, you might want something that's half this length. There is foam that is thinner than this, and it goes through the panel cell much easier. This is the heated wire thingamabob, and this thing cuts it much cleaner because it's heated and it goes right through the foam like butter. Usually, it's kind of weak. It's gotten weaker over the years, or maybe it's just this plug. I don't know. It's supposed to be more powerful than it actually turns out to be. So we have our mark right here. That's our 2 feet mark, and we're just gonna carefully. You do not want to touch this wire. It is hot. And I got the example, so we're gonna getting the top up there. So we're just gonna push this foam through our line. There we go. Get the top in. I'm just gonna move my hand out of the way so I don't burn my hand like a fool. We're just cutting through like butter. Really easy. Much better than the knife. Just wait till you see the cut. I was a little shaky, but you can see how that turned out much better. It's way more straight, not like that indentation that we had with the blade. So now we have this nice little 2 feet thing. Okay. Here we have our liquid nail. This is the adhesive that we use in Wizard of Oz to apply these things onto the thingamabobs. So I'm gonna show you guys how you guys can open this. So you start off actually, you unscrew this thing, and you actually have to get a utility blade. You have to cut into it like here, because it's sealed. It's like sealed. There's nothing's coming out. So you have to pierce it first. So we have that off, and then we come to our screw cap here, and screw that back on. Yeah, at the top here you have 1/16, 3/16, 1/4, 5/16. So we're gonna do it about here between the 1/16 and the 3/16. So you just cut it. I'm gonna go a little higher. You just cut it like we did the last one, and now we have that hole there. So get it into your caulk gun here, and so to get it in, put it in back first, and it slides in there, and you click it a few times, and that tightens it. This is a little sticky today. Okay, so now we have in our caulk. So this is the back of what actually this is the back. I prefer this side. So we're gonna squeeze it until caulk comes out. There we go. So the caulk's coming out. And we're just gonna, you don't need a lot. You just go like down the line, leaving a streak. And as you get to the end here, focus on the gun, trigger mechanism. To release the pressure, you hit that. It releases the pressure it's putting out, and you focus on the glue gun. So you let it run out, because there's like caulk coming out. So you let it run out so you don't get it on anything important. You wipe it off a few times, and you leave it somewhere where it's not gonna glue anything. So then you have your glue line here, and you line it up with your line that you marked out. Make sure you get the edge lined up with the edge, and the center with that line you marked. You put it down. So, and this thing dries pretty quickly. You use the pressure, and you don't need to sit here and do this for too long because it's like really simple. And I'm gonna repeat it with this one, and then we're gonna do these diagonals here. Okay, so now for our next step, it's a different day. Class ended before I could finish filming that last part, so you'll notice I'm in a different outfit. But for this next part, we're doing these diagonals here. So you can see, I'm gonna do the other side actually, because it's easier to tell where I mark. I'm lining it up with that chalk line I made, and I'm gonna carefully, with my eye, I'm gonna close one of them, and I'm gonna see where it lines up. You wanna be right over it so you can tell. And same with the bottom one. And then we do that, same thing up here, it's lined up. Sometimes it'll also help if here, make sure you can see this. You could do it on the side here, because it's much easier to tell where it's lining up. And then after you mark that side there, you just bring it over, mark the side there, and then mark the top so you know where to go. So now you guys are going to see a time lapse of me making this, because I already showed you guys the process of doing this. So you're just gonna see the time lapse of me doing it. I'll have, to,
fail.
I'll have to caption over this. Holy crap. Okay. This one's chopped.
See what much great theater is? Okay, you like fucking on the end.
And this piece. This.
Your favorite.
Shh, they won't notice.
The big blue line.
Shh, they won't notice. Ah, that's so bad. Okay. Okay, so we're gonna have to film myself making. I did. Okay, that's better. Okay guys, so as you can see, it's not exactly perfect for something like this. For the set, you would use a little bit of like the painting gaff tape, and you would go over that, and it would be a lot more clean looking. There wouldn't be as much of a gap there. Same with up there. I ended up using a thinner foam just because of how absurdly thick this foam is. But like I showed you with the liquid nail, you would go across on the thing, and you would apply it right there. Yeah, and that is how you would make. I'm not gonna glue it on because I'm just gonna take it apart anyway. But this is how you would make. Let me fix it up now that I was moving it around and stuff. But this is how you would make just detailing with foam onto any part of the set that you'd want.